Today, House Speaker Mike Johnson will lead a delegation of House Republicans to Eagle Pass, Texas tomorrow amid the ongoing border crisis. Johnson's office says they will tour migrant processing facilities, meet with local stakeholders, and receive a briefing from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. The Speaker's office says the trip is intended to, quote, highlight the ongoing failures of the Biden administration's border policies. Johnson's trip comes almost 2 weeks after he called on the president to take immediate executive action at the border and consider the House's bill Secure the Border Act of 2023. Lawmakers returned home for the holidays without a compromise on a solution as border crossings reached a record monthly high in December. We'll have coverage of the delegation's meeting in tomorrow's evening newscast right here on KLB. And the migrant surge across the southern border, as we said, has hit a record high in December. That's what two Department of Homeland Security officials tell NBC News. They say Border Patrol agents encountered some 300,000 migrants just last month, which would be a record high. The officials say Customs and Border Protection processed on average between 9,000 and 10,000 migrants each day in December, and the surge isn't over. A caravan of thousands of migrants is marching through Mexico toward the U.S. border. Organizers estimate 7,500 people from 24 different countries are part of the massive group.